It was the Tsar's palace, and it was once a place of waltzes and chandeliers and fabulous parties. But it had been overrun by devils who liked to play cards. So loud are the screams and the shouts that no decent folk go near the place. A Russian army tried to rid the creatures from the palace. In the morning, the only thing that was left was the shadows. The soldier walks up the hill and enters the palace. Sack in his shoulder, a whistle on his lips. Inside, it is eerily quiet, as if the walls were holding their breath. He waits until darkness falls, and without warning, he's surrounded by the devils.
We have a visitor, a guest.
Hello. I hear you like a game of cards.
Like a game of cards.
What shall we play for?
His soul, his whistle, his teeth. I collect teeth.
Fair enough. And what will you stake?
We've got 40 barrels of gold. Any good?
Very good.
So the playing got underway. The soldier dealt the cards and won again, and then a third time. And oh, how the devils cheated. He won game after game while the devils cheated to high heaven and low hell to no avail. By the morning light, the 40 barrels of gold were stacked behind the soldier who was whistling. The devils threatened the soldier with torture, but before they could wink, he had reached into his bag and pulled out his sack.
And by the grace of God, get in it. Will that be the end of your mischief in these parts?
He opened the bag, and they erupted in flight. They grabbed onto the foot of the last devil.
Let me go!
I won't let you go, my boy, until you swear to serve me faithfully.
I swear! I swear!
I'll hold you to your promise.
Hey!
His foot fell off in the soldier's hand, but the devil hobbled off. The soldier was the toast of the town and the star of the Tsar. But howsoever life smiles on us, death comes to us all. Oh yes, everything was dandy with our good soldier and his magic sack. Rewarded by the Tsar, he's a rich man, now a husband and a father. He lives in the castle, blessed and caressed, and he couldn't have been better, until one day his son falls into a terrible fever. They call doctors and apothecaries and healers, and soon the room is filled with the gray beards of men who would all shake their heads. Still, the fever rages, and the boy passes into a swoon. And oh dear, the gray beards are replaced with priests, mumbling and praying. It's in this moment that the soldier remembers that a devil owes him a favor. So he calls out to him, and a moment later he is at his son's bedside. He holds a small glass to look through. That's death, the devil explains. And because he's standing by his feet, not his head, he will recover. The devil instructs to sprinkle some water from the glass on the child. And when he did, the boy rose, sat up, and smiled. The soldier was so grateful that he agreed to release the devil if he allowed him to keep the glass. And so the soldier traveled the world, miracle man, show him a sick man, and he would hold up the glass, and if death was at his feet, a quick splish-splash, and the invalid would sit right up, pouring out his blessings. If death stood at his head, he would apologize and say he was too late. There was nothing that he could do. But the people always praised him and paid him all the same. Everything was well until one day, far from anywhere, the soldier received a message from home that the old Tsar had fallen ill. He arrives and holds the glass up to find that death is standing near the Tsar's head. After some thought, he holds up the glass. He speaks to death and asks to take him and to spare the Tsar. He begs, and the creature turns and disappears. Then the soldier splashes water on the Tsar, and slowly he rises to the amazement of everyone around him. Not long after, the soldier also finds himself ill and in bed. He holds up his glass near his head, and death is close. He's been waiting for this moment. From under the covers, he pulls out his sack and he orders death to get in it. With a shot of wind, the soldier feels his weight of the creature in his sack.
I caught death in my sack!
He calls out to the world. Word spread like wildfire. Death, a prisoner, a prisionaire. The soldier found the highest tree and the thickest forest and hung death from the longest branch and promptly fell off. But there's nothing like death off duty to cushion a fall. Nothing died. Wars went on in most places, and they were very strange. At the end of the day's carnage, flashing swords and explosions, and nobody had died. They were all exhausted and intact. Cross lovers would throw themselves off cliffs and have a long climb back. The soldier was the most famous man in the whole world. He was the one who defeated death. Then one day he looks down from his palace and sees his courtyard full of old souls wandering. Old scrags of folks barely held together. They were waiting for death's release. And it would not come. The soldier couldn't bear their sorrow, so back he went to the forest. He opened the bag and spoke to death. He told him that he would release him to take him and set the world back right again. But death fled from him, so fearful he was of the soldier and his sack. So the soldier watched as those around him expired and perished. But death would not come for him. Hell wouldn't take him, so frightened were the devils. He took 100 souls with him up to heaven, hoping to bargain his way. But alas, he was not allowed. The last soul, the soldier handed his sack and instructed him that once inside to call him in. But you see, there is no memory in heaven. And the soldier waited and waited an inch from paradise. And after a long time, he walked slowly back to earth. And for all I know, he wanders still.